Walk of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Conversation brought to you by Marcus Mack, a law firm representing injured people. Mr. Walk is on the line with us from Florida. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning. How's everybody up north?
Oh, we're having a wonderful time because we've got gorgeous sunny weather today and 67 degrees, just like you have down there.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, sunny and 67 today.
Keep that going.
We're trying to order some snow in for April the 8th when the Pirates open up. We got to keep with tradition.
Don't do that.
Hey, Bob, we're trying not to get overly excited about this Pirates team, but it's awful hard. You got these young Bucs there, and well, we know that they're not considered to be contenders. They're one of the teams picked for the bottom of the Major League standings, but there have been some pretty impressive arms shown, and yesterday was another chance for the Pirates to show off some of those arms. They looked pretty good, didn't they?
Yeah, they did very well. They didn't give up first hit until 2 outs in the ninth. So they can't do much better than that. I mean, that was a great game to watch. We played very good defense behind them. A lot of key double plays, cleaned up some walks. We did walk a few too many, but they pitched well. We played very good defense. The base running was excellent, and we hit the ball very well. There was even a couple home runs. So almost I sound like I'm recording from the last from Monday's show. So yeah. It's great. I'm really having a good time watching these guys play. They seem to be full of enthusiasm. You can tell just by watching from afar, which is all we can do right now, that they got a great atmosphere going on down there. They're all having a good time. So it's fun to watch and do the ball games.
Yeah, I would guess that it really is. And you were in this situation where you had to go back down to the minors and rebuild yourself toward what became an outstanding Major League career with the Pirates. Some of those so-called reclamation projects work out from time to time. Most of them don't. But as we look at some of these veteran arms that are coming in, there's a chance that some of these guys could make a real dent for the Pirates, isn't there?
Sure, we've seen it before. I mean, kind of a replay if you go back 6 or 7 years. I mean, that was you were able to put together kind of a nice core of players. You had power from Kutch and Alvarez, and just a great all-around ball player, and Neil Walker and a couple other guys, and then you were able to add some veteran arms to that group. And, for whatever reason, the old change of scenery, I mean, those guys were coming in with 5 ERAs from other places, and they came in and they pitched extremely well for us. They really responded to, a new team and, a new direction, hearing some new voices. And that might be what's going on this year because, you have new people in place just like before. And so a lot of you don't even have to change teams to hear different things and different ideas, and that's I think not only happened with some of the veterans that are coming in. It's some of the guys that have been here for a couple of years are getting different looks and hearing different things, and not all of them. It doesn't happen with everybody, but at least some of them are responding in a very positive way. And the little 2-month season last year, you could see some improvement, and now really this year. This spring training, you're seeing much better pitching than we have in a while.
All of that feeding off of the manager stuff that you hear. You played, of course, for Jim Leland when you were with the Pirates, and he was just universally beloved for the way that he approached it. What about Derek Shelton? Is he markedly different from the way Jim Leland did, or is there something that stands out about Derek Shelton as a manager of the Pirates that seems to get these guys?
I'm not real sure about that, to be honest with you. It's like we've been isolated from the team almost from the day one when Shelton got here. Now, we spent some time with him winter before last after he got hired. Spent some time talking to him quite a bit up at Seven Springs. We had like a little get-together up there. And I mean, you love the guy. He's got a lot of Jim Leland's traits. I can see that. He knows, when to make the guys laugh. He knows when to be hard on them. And so far, at least in the little bit last year where we were able to interact, one-on-one with the players before the COVID hit, there was nobody that had anything but praise for him, player-wise. So, I mean, they really responded in a positive way. So I would imagine that is continuing, and that hopefully will be part of this resurgence, and maybe one of the reasons we're seeing so much better baseball here this early in spring training.
I promised you the other day we'd give you a shot at Brownie here. Since Brownie big-timed you on that road trip last week, I wanted to see, what's Greg Brown like as a traveling companion when you're driving about Florida, going to all these different sites for ball games? Is he good to travel with?
Oh, yeah, he loves to talk, and we get into conversations about all kinds of things, other than baseball, but we do talk mainly baseball, not just about the Pirates. We talk about the big leagues in general and rule changes and stuff. Brownie, he loves to talk, big picture, and we do a lot of that on our drives, and they're not quite as long as they used to be. Yesterday, for instance, we only had to go. We went down to North Point instead of going all the way out to Orlando and having to fight that I-5 traffic. So that was a pleasure. But yeah, Brownie is a great traveling companion. Whether it's in a car with him for an hour or longer, I've been sitting next to him for 30 years now, going on 30 years.
How about that? Hey, we had Greg on a month or so ago talking about all of these great Hall of Famers that have passed away in this past year, really in the past 6 months. And he was telling us some wonderful stories, told us a great Lasorda story, a Hank Aaron story. And I wanted to ask you, because I know that you spent time in Atlanta, if you ever had that chance to really get to know Hank Aaron at all, or was he around the team when you were there, even though he was no longer with the team?
Oh, yeah, he was, I can't remember his title. I'm pretty sure it was, they change titles nowadays so much. His role basically was he's directing the minor leagues. In fact, I had a pretty long meeting with him after they released me because he wanted me to re-sign. Once they release you, now you're a free agent. You can go wherever you want. Mm-hmm. He wanted me to re-sign a AAA contract with him. And, I can remember him, I'm sitting there right across the desk from him saying, hey, we really like you. We think you still got a lot of years in the big leagues. We just needed to get you off the roster. They say all this stuff, but he said that, he even told me, he says, whatever you can get, whatever deal you get out there, whatever minor league deal, he says, we'll match it, money wise. I mean, he was very straightforward, and back then, I think there was a little bit of some disagreements in what directions to go with the Braves, and I could sense that in his discussion that he had with me. But it was a nice talk, and of course at the time I was about 24, 25 years old, and I'm sitting at a desk across from the legend Henry Aaron, and so I don't even really remember everything he said because I was sitting there in awe most of the time. But as it turned out, I didn't take his advice. I took Johnny Sain's advice, and Johnny made a phone call to Chuck Tanner, and Chuck called me, and then I've been in Pittsburgh ever since.
How about that?
That was a kind of a nice little conversation that I had with one of the true legends of the game of baseball. And you're talking well over 100 years. I mean, he's one of the top guys ever.
Yeah. So the big question is, after you first met Hank Aaron and had a chance to really have a conversation with him, who did you go call and say, hey, guess who I was just talking to?
I don't think I did that. I mean, I wasn't in the mood to do things like that because I'd just been released for the first time in my life and didn't know my baseball career was like going in the wrong direction fast. So I didn't think about that until later on. I can remember thinking, wow, that was Hank Aaron that was saying that they wanted me. It had much more effect on me like weeks later than it had at the moment. I can remember being in awe, and I can remember after I got the message, I'm like, what does Hank Aaron want to talk to me about? So I was just sitting around. You got to go through, I don't know, it's like 2 or 3 days. You have to sit there and go through waivers before you're actually released. So I couldn't really go anywhere. Couldn't leave town. Couldn't do anything. So I had to sit there in West Palm Beach and wait. So I actually had meetings with a number of brave brass. But the guy that was calling the shots was not one of them, so I moved on.
Well, we're glad that Johnny Sane spoke to Chuck Tanner because we love you here in Pittsburgh. Bob Walk, thanks for joining us this morning.
It was a pleasure, and I'll talk to you again on Friday.
All right, we'll see you.
Bye.
It is the voice of Indiana County, WCCS 101.1 FM and AM 1160.